Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bigfoot, and welcome back to another episode of my Airline Tycoon Series with Pheonix Travel. So as we can see, we are starting off this episode number 15, with over 500,000 passengers flown. Very, very nice indeed. Our image is very good, our personnel is at 90%, so it has gone down, but I had to fire some people just because I had too many people in the staff roster. And then we've also got a 98% plane maintenance rate, which is very, very high indeed. Note we're also up at 49 million. Between this and the last episode, I jumped forward about 2 weeks just to go ahead and get myself some dollar bills. So it's just 2 airlines left in the game now. We are getting towards the end of the series, and in the last episode I said I wanted to expand onto a new route, but I don't have any spare planes anymore. I've managed to use them all up. And as we can see here, we're at 100% capacity on multiple routes, or 4 routes that we've currently got going. Though I want to take this Manila route today and go ahead and start flying that at least. So this one here has a distance of only 2,500, which is very, very, very short. And I want to get a big, big, big plane in here, which I'm quite excited for. So we're going to go ahead and do that. The current and daily requirements, I could possibly get 1 massive plane or 2 small planes, but we'll go ahead and see what we can do with our budget. So let's jump into the plane shop and let's go ahead and see what we can do. Not been in here in a while actually, because I've not really had much need, just because I took a lot of the planes which Honey Airlines had and went ahead and changed them up. So taking some feedback from many episodes ago from Sebstar 5000 and Ethmeister, I'm really better going for the late Boeing range, the 757 to 777 for long range. So as we can see here, the Boeing 777-300 would probably be ideal. This is the biggest plane I believe in the game, and it can carry 550 passengers. That is all second class I believe though, so I would split that, but I don't need any distance like that to be honest. But it would allow for passengers to be carried really easily. We've got, that's actually really good. I mean, that would be perfect. I mean, so this is a 747, but it's a domestic one, meaning that it's got a very short range. However, it has got a massive amount of people I can carry. And if we can get this plane, which I think we should maybe save up for, just as a one-off, then we can go ahead and fly that on the route, and that would solve all the problems. The consumption's high, but obviously if I'm carrying 568 passengers per flight, then it would be worth it. And it's in the range, or is it in the range? 3,185. Is it? 3,185. 3,001. Yes, it is in the distance. And I could also upgrade the Bangkok to fly that plane as well. That would definitely be worth it. One thing I just seen there as I was checking that board was the Falcon Lines manager going into the sabotage room. So I just want to make sure my security is all intact, and it is. Obviously, as the only airline left, who's he going to sabotage? Well, he's going to try and sabotage me, but that's not going to work. So let me have a think here, because we can actually make our airline quite a bit more efficient, because right now we've got 2 planes flying to Bangkok, making 40,000 per flight. I think both. Yeah, pretty much doing that exactly. However, we could just go ahead and amalgamate that onto 1 plane, and then we can go ahead and make more than 40,000 per flight. Adding the 2 together, 80,000, but I'm sure that other plane would make much more than 80,000 per flight for that route. So we could actually go ahead and buy 2 of those. However, that's going to be some way away. Now I realise I've taken that Manila route and I've not actually got enough money for the plane yet, so what I'm going to have to do is cancel the route, because obviously if I'm not flying the route, you can't drop this route as long as it's being flown by your planes. Yeah, not that route though, this route. I want to drop the route. Hopefully I can re-pick it up again at some point though. Yeah, I can, that's fine. I just don't want to have it in my route scheduler, and then obviously if I don't fly it for multiple days, then it can be taken off you and you can be barred from running it, which I just really don't want that to happen. That would be a bit of a disaster start to the episodes. So ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do the first time in this series, I'm actually going to have to skip ahead, because I'm going to have to literally do this until I get about 110-15 million, And the reason for that is because I need to get the plane, which only costs 80 million, but then I need to go ahead and upgrade it inside and outside, and with the plane that size, that is going to cost me a lot of money, an extra at least 20-25 million. Then once that's done, then we can go ahead and actually start flying the plane properly. One thing to note, I'm just checking continuously if any more shares are issued here, but they're not. Share prices for both airlines that are still in the game, myself at 106 and Falcon at 142. They're fluctuating up and down right now, so all in all, things are really not changing too much. Value of stock, something important though. So my stock value is only 76 million, whereas his is 2.13 billion. So there is a drastic difference there in our airlines. However, I am playing catch up now and I'm hoping we get there. Alright, so let's keep going. I'm just going to go ahead and skip this part forward until I have enough money. So as I've been skipping forward, I guess, and jumping forward, we have had an issue.
Let's start with Falcon Lines. Polls say that
What's going on?
I'm
afraid unpleasant news for you. The bank has filed for bankruptcy.
That's the end of your airline.
And that's the end. And that's it. So that means I win.
Good luck. Really a shame.
Real shame.
Next is Pheonix.
Okay, next, Pheonix Travel. It's a pleasure. Profit from your good reputation.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, that's weird, isn't it? That is weird. I never realised his bank account at all, and he obviously wasn't selling any more shares. But that means we've won. We're the only airline left. So that's kind of a bit anticlimactic and disappointing. I guess, I mean, all three airlines went bankrupt in the end. Now, there was one good reason for this, and I think it was down to us actually. We're putting a lot of pressure on this route here, the Sydney to Singapore. I put 3 planes on it, meaning that our capacity usage was over 100%, which was great, and that just meant that, I guess, they couldn't keep up, and that was probably one of their big revenue streams. I didn't even have to lower the price of my tickets actually, which was nice to see. But that means that essentially now we're playing against ourselves, so I guess the series is going to wrap up at the end of this episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue. I do want to go ahead and buy this plane and get this Manila route into operation, just because that means that I have all of the 5 direct routes out of Singapore I am flying, which is something I want. So let's go ahead and take this domestic plane, though I realise it's not a domestic route. But that means I've managed to go ahead and get that plane, so we're down to a very small 4 million. It's so weird seeing how little money I have now with this massive... It's just not right seeing 4 million when I've had so much money now. Right, so this is going to be going up to Manila, which is fine. So how much are we actually going to need? Because I imagine we're going to need, as I said, 20 million. How much are we making a day right now? I mean, that should probably be quite similar. Good thing is we're not getting hit by sabotage, so I can essentially now just remove all security, because I'm pretty sure there's no random sabotage, which just happens between different, or I don't know, like random incidents. I'm pretty sure it must come from a individual airline. Right, so upgrading the inside of view costs a whopping 6 million, which is quite a bit. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to go ahead and get a cash bill for the outside of the plane, the technical side of things. So if we very quickly go ahead and do that, then this is going to cost me, yeah, quite a lot of money. So those two there alone, so that's going to cost another 6 million, and that's going to, so we need 13 million for the remaining 2 parts, which should be quite easy to achieve. That should only take me like 2 or 3 days. I can't believe that. All of a sudden they've both gone bankrupt, and I mean, we're not that far through, I feel. I think we're about 180 days right now, which, I mean, that's not even half a year. Yeah, okay, so we're just over half a year here, and I mean, it's probably did happen a good maybe 6-10 days ago now, so that is crazy. I can't believe that. I'm a bit in shock right now, you know what I mean? I really wasn't expecting that. I was expecting the series to continue on for quite a lot of episodes, because I remember last time when I was Falcon Airlines, we really went for quite a long time. A really long time. I skipped forward so much towards the end because it was very repetitive. And I don't think the series has ever got to that stage, which is good. Maybe actually some of the earlier episodes, not later episodes, because I feel these later episodes move quite fast, but that's really the snowball effect anyway. But what we can do now is go ahead and upgrade those two, and I'm going to go for an 8:2 ratio there, which is perfect. Alright, so that means now I can go ahead and take this route, which is good, so let's go ahead and take that. Now I want to jump into the office because this is my own airport now, so I own all 6 gates, which is good. So let's go ahead and take that. So let's jump forward to tomorrow, generate a wee bit more cash, and let's go ahead and see what we can do now and see how profitable we can get this at Manila routes. So Manila, Singapore to Manila, we'll start you on Thursday at, I don't know, 2 o'clock. Looks like you're a 5-hour flight, which is fine, and then Manila to Singapore. Duplicate that down multiple times, and let's go ahead and see how you fare. It should be quite profitable, I am thinking actually. I'm quite excited for this. So you're now flying, and you're full, which is perfect, and you're 181,000 per flight, which is good. Realistically, we're getting about 5 of these in per day, so we're making about, what, 900,000 per day on this plane, which is very, very nice to see. And that consistently, I think, will do very well going forward. So from 12.6 million, we're now going all the way up to, we're making so much money per day. 17.3 million, so just short of 5 million now. What I do want to do though is we're actually going to replace the Bangkok flight as well. So currently right now we've got 2 planes flying the Bangkok routes. What I want to do is go ahead and just put all of them on to one of these massive planes we've just bought for the Manila route, the 747-400. I want to get one of those and replace these 2 Bangkok planes, just because it's such a short distance and it would be quite easy to do so. So let's go ahead and first of all fill up the rest of the schedule here. So Manila, Singapore, Manila, Singapore, and Manila, Singapore, and then we need the return route. As we can see here, I can't actually fly a lot of different planes on this just because of the fact, or a lot of different routes on this type of plane just because of the distance. Hence a lot of them are greyed out, though all in all, I can do the Bangkok one. Can I do the male one? No, I can't do the male one. The male one must just be out of range. Your range, I think, is, yes, your distance is 3.3 and you can only fly 3.1, so it's not too far off, but I don't want to be landing in the middle of the Indian Ocean anyway. Okay, so for this, what we're going to do is we're going to sell these 2 planes to raise most of the capital. That's going to be the easiest thing. So do you really want to delete the flight plan? Yes, I do, and then we can do the same here for that. Right, so we'll jump forward to tomorrow, so all of a sudden randomly there's no Bangkok flights. That must be quite strange. That was our starting route. Let's jump outside here, let's check this board. I want to see how we're doing. So we're at 100% already on the Manila Singapore, which is good. We're at 91 on Singapore to Bangkok right now, though obviously that's taken in effect with the current changes to my removal of that route on the 2 planes. That's what I'm trying to say. It's really weird now actually seeing all of the gates in my hands here. That's really nice to see. Alright, so we need to wait till 11 o'clock until the museum opens up, which is good, so we can go ahead and sell these planes. Not really at all sure how much we're going to get for these Airbus A310s, just because they aren't the best planes. They are maxed out though, they are kitted out very well, and I have spent a lot of money on them, and there's 2 of them, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get up to 84 million, that's for sure. So I'd like to sell planes, and then the Bangkok one. So yeah, price 15. I'm going to only get 14 million for them both. I'd like to sell an airplane, please. Don't know why that didn't sell there. Why am I not selling this? Oh, because there's still planes on it, isn't there? Yeah, I already have though, but it obviously, because I ticked forward 1 day, it then meant that it's not quite updated for, so say for example today's Tuesday, I deleted the schedule from Monday, but it will still have Monday flights in for next week, so right at the bottom of the schedule it's still going to have 2 flights, which is kind of frustrating. It always does this, so yeah, as you can see, Monday is the bottleneck there, and then Monday is the bottleneck there too. Alright, okay, what we'll actually do is we'll run along to the advertising agency, just because we've got this new Manila route which we haven't advertised yet, so we can go ahead and do that very, very quickly. So let's go ahead and jump in here, though it's not 12 o'clock yet. Speed this game up. It's crazy the amount of people all of a sudden in the airport. Hey, wow, I mean, okay, there is a bit of frame rate issues here actually. It's the game, it's not my computer. My computer, trust me, can run this game. It's just, this game's obviously very old, so having a lot of people in at once is quite demanding. We've got a plane leaving at, it must be about leaving now actually, Singapore to Mail at 12 o'clock. And then we've got 3 planes departing at 1 o'clock. That's probably a 12 o'clock plane. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3 there. Unless, I don't really know why that is. Anyway, by the by, we're going to Sydney, and then Manila. So, the Singapore Sydneys are flying at the same time, which probably isn't as efficient as it could be, but anyway, let's ignore that for now. So, let's go ahead and prove the image of my new route, which is out to Manila. 26%, let's just go ahead and give you the 1.4 million, and that will allow that to get to 100% very, very quickly. Right, so let's go ahead and sell these 2 planes, and then that'll get us that little bit closer anyway to being able to afford the, what, 84 million we need for the Bangkok route. I'd like to sell planes. Bangkok 1, there we go. Yup, so that's gone. And then I'd like to sell an airplane. Bangkok 2. What? I would like to sell an airplane. Okay, so the state owns 90% of that plane. I can make you a good share for only 5 million. Yeah, I think that was one of our starting planes actually. So that kind of makes sense. Right, 47 million. We need to get to, what, 100 million. So what we're going to do is return to the office. It's going to be kind of weird though. What I'm going to actually do is drop the Bangkok route again because we don't have any planes to fly it right now. Which is weird. So we're dropping this route for the time being, though we will bring it back very, very shortly. So what I'm going to do, I wonder how much we're making per day. As I said, we're making about 5 million, but we've obviously cut the Bangkok flights right now. So 51.8 million, that then goes all the way up to 55.2 million. So, okay, the profit is down a bit, but we're flying 2 less planes, and, I mean, they were making me, what, 40,000 each flight. We're flying 6 times a day, typically. So that was 240,000 per day per plane, and we're flying 2 planes. So we're making about, what, 480,000 per day from that route alone, which is very, very good. So that's probably why it's had some effect on our profit margins, because that 500,000 I can feel digging a hole in my pocket. We're really not making that much money at all here, actually, I feel. It's fluctuating, it's different day by day. You're fine. You filling? Oh, you're empty. That plane is amazingly empty. It's because we're probably flying it too much, to be honest. Like, that route does not need that demand at all. It really doesn't. It could do it even a smaller plane, to be fair. This Manila one is doing very well, though. Though, again, its numbers fluctuate. As you can see, it's got 138/56. It's then got 447/56. It's always consistently full on its first class, though, which gives me an indication I should upgrade the first class. So let's do that. Manila, let's increase you 1. So that means now there's some extra first class on there, which is good. So that should allow for, I mean, it is doing well consistently, but I guess it is fluctuating a bit, which is kind of problematic. The only plane that is probably making us consistent profit are the 2 that are going down, or the 2 routes that are going down to Australia, Sydney and Singapore. As we can see here, Singapore to Sydney is making us 500,000 there, and again that one's full. I can't really tell about any others, but that is doing very well. So the Sydney route is bringing us in lots and lots. Though that was only on that plane, we do have 3 planes flying that route, mind you. And then what about Perth? Perth, 133,000 consistently there as well, which is nice to see. Again, I could quite easily upgrade these old planes because, oh, they're not old, but again, they're quite small, and now I have the money to go ahead and buy much bigger, larger, and better planes, so it's maybe worth doing. if I do want to continue the series on, which I'm not going to after this episode, but if you'd like to see me go ahead and work on efficiency and expand into more routes, then please let me know in the comment section below, because I would actually probably happily continue to play this game and see where we can take our money, expand into some new routes. Probably, again, move on to maybe another airport as well and just connect up from every single destination in that airport. However, I realise that might not be too entertaining for some people, so what I will do is I will leave that to you down in the comment section below. Would you like to see more or not? With regards to me playing this game again, I will play this game again. I've got 2 other airlines still to play, though I'm going to leave it till probably next year, 2019, until I do that, just because of the fact I kind of want to just do one playthrough per year, and there's quite a few other games I want to go ahead and play at this current time. Alright, okay, so that's me up over 100 million, which is really cool to see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and buy the plane, and then we're just going to go ahead and get started again on that Bangkok route. So buy a plane, please. Next page, the domestic, one of them. Though I'd really like to buy more, but hey ho. And there we go. Alright, so let's return back into the office now. Let's go ahead and jump forward. I just could do with that tiny bit more money. That will do perfectly. Right, so let's go ahead and upgrade this new plane. What is it called? That's a good question. The Westerland, or Westerland if it's pronounced in German. So that's going to cost 18 million alone to do the outside, which is a lot. So let's jump forward into tomorrow. And then that gives me 6 million. That should be enough to do the inside. So if we check out the inside, as we can see, that's costing at 6.7 million. So I would go into the negative, but I think I should gain money before I lose money. As we can see, we have done there, which is nice. So that means that plane is now ready to go. So we can go ahead and take the Bangkok route back. As we can see, the current requirement's actually a lot higher than I thought it was. Jesus, that is much higher, but we should still be able to serve everyone on this plane. So, and also thinking about it as well, I can't remember if I changed the first and second class allocations on it either. So I might have not been flying any, on one of the planes I'm sure I wasn't flying any first class, so there's going to be so much more first class now available on this Bangkok plane. The one thing is, now that I'm going ahead and reducing the plane from, or 2 planes into 1 plane, I'm going to have so much more free room at gates. That's the one thing I'm going to have, which is good going forward. Right, so let me go ahead now and run the simulation overnight again into Sunday. And let's see how we're doing. Let's see if we're consistently making 5 million per night. So first of all, 55,000. And then we're making 71 and then 83 there. It looks like the problem is really to do with both first and second class, to be fair actually. It's not filling up. We have 426 and 71. 476 and 71, we're nowhere near either, actually, unfortunately. We're very close in the first class on that plane, but we're nowhere near 476. Or it's 426. Right, so that last plane there is full minus 1 seat. And that's making 83,000, so it's actually making about the same as I guess it was previously. It's not really changed that much, to be honest, which is fair enough. We are going to fly this back to back though and have no gaps, which is fine to do. Alright, so that's that filled up. So now we can go ahead and skip forward to tomorrow, and now we can actually just start to see our airline really do well. Not that it wasn't doing well before, but that just makes things much easier. And I guess we've actually got rid of another plane, so we're back down to only 8 planes, which is crazy. I'm flying, I mean, most of my routes, and I guess probably the Perth route, maybe not actually, I'm not 100% sure, but 3 of my routes are only flying 1 plane. Perth, I don't think that could really work. I mean, I couldn't buy that domestic plane that I've been using anyway for the Bangkok and Manila routes, just because of the distance. However, I could definitely probably buy a more profitable plane going forwards. Anyway, so that pretty much wraps things up, ladies and gentlemen, though as I do, I'm not going to rush away. We are going to go over the statistics for the end of the series here. So one thing I do want to check on is the Bangkok route and how it's doing. So capacity use is only 89% actually, so it's not full, which is crazy. Though the Manila one is, but the Bangkok, I guess the current requirement is very high. It's at 89% though, so it's high enough. It doesn't really need another plane, which is understandable. What we are going to do is, because we removed the routes, I am imagining we cancelled the advertising, so I just want to put some more advertising back onto that. And then that should probably do the series, to be honest. As we can see here, 2 flights about to depart. We've got at 12 o'clock to Mail, and then we've got an 11 o'clock to Perth. So you can think about this as not the Singapore International Airport, but a Singapore airport which is privately owned by one airline, because that's what it is. All of a sudden we've got 3 flights on the board. We met this busy time the other day actually. So 2 flights to Sydney and 1 to Bangkok. So yeah, there's definitely is a bit of a frame drop anyway. But the good thing is now the advertising agency is open, which is good. So let's go ahead and jump in. What I want to try is I need a big advertising campaign to improve my airline's image and all my routes. Oh God's sake, you can spend a lot. Wow-y. Not that I need to, but you can spend 60 million, but that would get everything to 100,000. Or not 100,000, 100%, sorry. So that's crazy. I don't need to do that though, because all of these should be 100 except the Singapore Bangkok, which they are. So let's go ahead and sort you out, and the individual route to sort out only costs 1.4 million, though it does take a few days anyway. But to be fair, if you're going for that 60 million thing, that's really just going to be mainly your... That's the main focus of that really is just the airline's image, because routes are really easy to do. It's difficult to increase your airline image at such a rate. That's the real difficulty. Anyway, so things it's going to be busy all day here. It just is. It's our airport now, you know what I mean? It really is. Anyway, I want to go ahead and check very quickly the gate usage actually and see, because it's probably gone back down again. Okay, so there's a point on Tuesday lunchtime, which is Tuesday lunchtime. That's a bit of a bottleneck. I guess every single lunchtime's quite a bottleneck, but outside of that, we're coping quite well. There's still some times when there's no flights at all, so I could easily spread that out that little bit more, but I'm going to leave it for the time being. Daily balance sheets I can't get that. Competitors, I mean, they're sort of not really playing anymore, are they? So there's no need for that. Right, okay, so that's pretty much going to wrap up the series. As I've said, if you do want to see me do some more, then please say down in the comment section below. We're going to skip forward to Friday, and I'm going to call it the end of the working week and the end of the series as well, and we'll get our final statistics. So on this final evening, how much are we making? We're on 25 million. Note as well before I tick over, we've carried 798,000 passengers, I think I just seen there. Where does it say? It says somewhere. Not in here, and that's issued stock. Yeah, it should be in here, passengers. Okay, I think that includes honeys though. I swear it did say 798,000, so if we jump forward 25 million and 798,000, those are the two numbers you need to keep in mind. So first of all, passengers, we've gone from 798,000 to 806,000, so it looks like we're carrying about 8,000 passengers per day, which is nice to see. We end on an image of 100%, personnel of 90%, which that's caused us 1 or 2 problems. We had, I think, 2 strikes throughout the series, which did cause us some issues. Then planes at 98%, which is, I mean, I can't fault that at all, that's near enough perfect. We went from 25 million to 29 million, which means we've gained 4 million, pretty much exactly actually overnight. Though I'm sure if we wanted to, we could go ahead and increase that. Let's go ahead and exit out here. Check the board. So for the Bangkok to Singapore route, it is at 100% now, which I did expect. As we can see, Manila, Singapore, 100% as well. Singapore, Sydney. Singapore Perth, and then Singapore Mail, so all at 100%. So have I gone ahead and achieved my goal of my series, which is to build a low-cost, cheap airline, which is going ahead and flying around Southeast Asia? Yes and no. I've not really, I guess, altered much of the pricing. That's not really what I've gone for, and I have integrated a lot of first class as the series goes on, which low-cost airlines don't really do at all. I have built it across Southeast Asia. Yes and no, there's not a lot of destinations in Southeast Asia, really. Would have maybe been better starting at Thailand, I guess you could say, up in Bangkok. However, from Singapore, I have connected directly to every single airport, though arguably 2 of them aren't even in Asia. And I wouldn't really classify, for example, Mail in the Maldives. I wouldn't classify that necessarily in Southeast Asia. I'd classify that as South Asia, in there with India. Bangkok I would. Manila, would I class the Philippines as Southeast Asia? Yeah, I guess I probably would. That or possibly East Asia. But I mean, I would more associate East Asia with like Japan, the Koreas and China. Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, all that sort of countries there. So anyway, I would say though that this series has been a success. It did take a while to get there anyway. We very much didn't have much movement until about episode 10, 11, where all of a sudden things kicked off. I got Honey Airlines, and that just, once you get that snowball effect going, it really, really just does start to accumulate. So let's have a look here and see our final stats. As we can see, routes 662 million that has made us, and I think very much if we just kept this running and running and running, I think we would make so much more money now with our routes. Routes are always the way forward, though very much orders did make us a lot of money, 53 million, and it is the place to start. Then from there, miscellaneous, 193 million, so not really at all sure what that is from. I really don't know what that's from actually. I have no idea. Cargo, or, I mean, we didn't carry any cargo at all, I don't think. Or definitely not 193 million's worth. If anyone's got any idea, please leave a comment down in the comment section below, because I'm a bit stumped there. Regards to renting routes, it's not been much. Salaries has not been much at all, actually. Oh, maybe it's only like 10,000 per year. Oh, that's nothing. I could have quite easily kept all the staff on. Fuel, that's cost us quite a bit of money, and I've not really touched fuel, I never do. That cost us 220 million, but that's always been an expense which I've always taken into account anyway, and same with maintenance. You need these two, obviously, to fly the plane. 64 million. Can't really tell if these are bad or good, to be honest, so can't really comment on them. Penalties, very, very low. We only didn't manage to fly maybe about a handful of orders which we took out of air travel and last minute. And then miscellaneous, I can imagine that is from stuff to do with, I mean, sabotage, yeah, but not that much. So in total there, result is only 71. How does that work? How does that work? I'm not really at all sure what's included in miscellaneous, but supposedly we've come out with a 71 million profit. I don't know, I don't really get it. With regards to shares, our share price doesn't end too bad, it's fluctuated, but in terms of this series, we've not actually been the most valued airline at all. Arguably we're one of the worst, but the other 3 did run into bankruptcy issues, which I never came across. And I mean, I'm always good with my spending. I don't overspend, because if you do overspend, then that can be very problematic. And then finally here, we have got planes, 8 of them. We did have a lot more planes at one point. We had about 16, but I ended up selling them just because a lot of them weren't new and in good condition. Routes 10, or 5 essentially. Not really gone above that, or not really needed to go above that. As I said, I can go ahead and keep going if you want me to. I can almost do it in a live stream or something. However, it's so repetitive from this stage on. But I don't mind that actually, because I do really love this game. Branch offices 14 though, none of those are essentially mine, all inherited. Flights, we're nearly at 4,000 flights, that is very impressive. The amount of flights we do per day must be very close to maybe 30, 40 I imagine, just across the whole fleet of 8 planes, so I think we've done very well there. Orders, quite a lot of orders taken. That was all at the very start though. Last minute, not many of them. Delays, the delays were caused by strikes, accidents, poor maintenance and sabotage. We didn't get affected by any sabotage on the planes, which is good to see. Passengers, now as I've just said there, and as I was talking about when the day ticked over, I just went to 806,000 passengers. This includes honeys, I believe, because that is not the same stat as at the start of each day. Contents, 99%, not really at all sure what that means, but hey ho. I also don't know why you can untick this stuff. That's odd. Anyway, employees 82, quite high, a lot of that inherited again, and then content again. Oh, content, not content. Jesus, I'm thick, aren't I? Sometimes I say the most stupid things. How happy are people? So 99% very good passenger satisfaction. Staff, that must have been quite low at some point actually, but 90% is pretty good to end with. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I guess goodwill as well. I can't remember what that really stands for, but hey ho. So that is the end of this series. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please leave a like, rate, and subscribe if you are new around here. If you've missed any previous episodes in the series, then go ahead and please check out the playlist where all the episodes are. It's a Friday, it is the busy period. We have, I think all the planes are about to leave now actually, which is good. As I said, if you want me to extend the series, I quite easily can. And with that said, that is all for Airline Tycoon until probably 2019. I also have another series. If this is the first series you've watched, I've already done Falcon Lines, which is very enjoyable. It takes quite a different path and it's based in London, so you can go ahead and watch that if you want some more of this before 2019. But that's all, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you very much for watching. My name is Bigfoot and I'm out.